G'day, it's your girl Majestie and welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be about feeling comfortable enough to say no. Now this could be to something that you don't feel comfortable doing. This could be to something that you're just not up to doing, you don't want to do, and it could be requested by a friend, a family member, a work colleague, anyone. Now I understand you're this type of person. You're always there for people, people rely on you, you're always doing things for people, you go an extra mile, you make the time for people. I understand. And I also understand that sometimes you don't really want to do it and you're not really up to it, but you do it anyways because you're just that type of person. Well, you don't have to be that type of person, you can say no. Now, I want you to remember that as much as you're trying to help people, that you are just as important as people, okay? You deserve the time you need and you deserve the time to focus on yourself. Now, hear me out. As much as you want to be this good person, as much as you want to help people, I think personally the best help you could give someone is to teach them that, listen, I understand you're in a problem, but you can help yourself. There are solutions. It's not every time you need to call on me. And I say this because I feel you need to break down the barriers. And I say you need to break down the barriers because if you don't break them down, they're always going to call on you. They're always going to rely on you. And honestly, that's just going to get a bit overwhelming and it's going to get frustrating because you have a life, right? You have a life. And if someone's always calling on you and they're always depending on you, it's like, okay, where's my time? I have a family too, I have a life, I have things I want to do. I can't always be here for your problems. You see what I'm trying to say? That's why I say break down the barriers, because if you don't start from now, or if you don't start early, you're going to give them this comfort of where when they're in a sticky situation or when they need something, one phone call or one knock on the door and boom, they've got what they needed and they're out of that problem. So let's try and break down the barriers. And hear me out. Saying no is not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. A lot of people look at it as a negative thing because there's no help involved, and what's the point of saying no? You clearly can't help anyone and you're just being selfish. Well, you're not being selfish, and there is a positive in it. You're helping yourself. You're focusing on yourself. Technically, if you cannot help yourself, how can you help anyone else? You know what I'm trying to say? Let me give you a random example. Say you're studying for a test. There's this question you don't know the answer. Would you ask someone that doesn't know the answer as well, or would you want that person to know the answer so they can teach you? Well, that's what I'm trying to say. You need to help yourself. You need to focus on yourself in order to help all these other people around you. Stop feeling like you need to be in this pressured zone of where, okay, that person needs my help and okay, that one needs my help too, so I need to help. No. Stop having that guilty conscience. And just because you say no one time or 2 times or whatever, it doesn't mean that you always need to help them, because if you don't, they get upset about it. It's life. And let me tell you something. You see, that first time you say no to someone, that's the time they're always going to remember. They're not going to remember the other time you helped them or the time before that or the time before that. No, they're going to remember the time you don't help them. But it's fine. That's your choice now whether you want to help them moving forward. But it doesn't mean feel guilty about it. It doesn't mean, okay, you always need to help them. There is nothing written on paper saying you must always be there for people. You are just as important. You have a life. You need to live. You need to experience, okay? You go through problems and you seem to solve them fine. So why can't they do that also, right? Now listen, I know I rumbled on a lot, but I'm going to close this and say, if you are always a reliable person, break down your barriers like I said, and just know that you have a life also, and teach those around you that you go through the same things like them. You are human and it is possible to solve, and it's not all the time you can be there for them because you have a life of your own. And if you are a person that's always relying on people and you get upset because they say no, take back a few steps if you need to and realize that you have the ability to solve the problems yourself. And maybe because someone said no, it doesn't mean that they didn't want to help you. Maybe they just can't help you and they're trying to focus on themselves. Don't always put stuff in a negative, mindset. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you took something from it, and if you did, be sure to share it, be sure to like it, subscribe and comment, and I will see you in another video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.